Thank you so much for this kind presentation. It is a pleasure to be here. I want to start by thanking the organization for this invitation, giving me this opportunity to share my work, which I have been doing in the last years with my research. It is an honor to be able to share this knowledge with this community and to be able to share all these works we have been developing and that we appreciate so much. So it is great, really an honor, and I hope you enjoy it. So, oops, this didn't start, just okay. So sea skirts are potato-shaped organisms found in all seas. They are born as free-swimming tadpole-like larvae. The larva swims until it finds a place to attach itself and metamorphose. Later, the tail is absorbed and disappears, losing then its mobility. And this is our point. The question is, what can we learn from sea skirts? That the brain probably evolved to allow living things to move. Thus allowing humans to maintain healthy bones, hearts, and muscles, which are used to several tasks such as escape danger in many situations, or just access resources from all kinds, as well as to socialize and interact. Always trying and maintaining a healthy brain that enables to secure human species and evolve. So, in fact, locomotion is one of the physical activities most common in basic in our human lives, and relevant for its and our independency while executing the diverse activities of daily living. So while developing my research, framed by my background in electronics and also robotics, and with my contact with biomedical engineering, I decided to focus my research in movement and in particular in locomotion. So in order to do so, I first researched over how could locomotion become impaired. And then I verified which were the means and technologies which could be used to overcome impaired locomotion. Especially I focused in rehabilitation robotics. And then I had to gather the main limitations and the challenges of the actual state of the art and the key technologies that were there to actually overcome this impaired locomotion. So this was my next step. All this led to the creation of the Bird Lab, which is my laboratory, and we tackle these issues, in particular the development of biomedical devices. Here in this presentation, I will focus 3 cases that we have been developing, namely WalkIt, smart wearable robots, and PlusSense. As I said, I hope you enjoy it. So motivation, I will first start by discussing impaired gait. Okay. So Several neurological disorders are the causes or the main causes of these walking disorders and disabilities. And considering especially an aging population, this can increase even more the number of neurological disease and its consequences. So in this particular case, we have been focusing stroke, and the increasing incidence of stroke has been raising to this aging of the population. In fact, we see that stroke affects 15 million people per year worldwide, 1.1 million in Europe, and around 25,000 in Portugal. So the main cause, considering motor consequences, is the long-term disability that this provokes, as you can see in these movies. And in fact, these people remain functional dependent of the others. There are, of course, other neurological disease. In here in particular, I focus in Parkinson's disease, which is another degenerative disease, also very common worldwide. We see that it affects around 500 to 1.5 million of people in the United States, around 20,000 people in Portugal, and 1% of population, considering people over 60 years old. This has also impairments in the walking on the gait of the people. You can see there, this video here. It's not okay. It's not okay, but we will see it later also, so no problem. And there are also other neurological diseases, as I was saying, like cerebral palsy, which also affects a huge quantity of people, multiple sclerosis, and also spinal cord injury, which we are also start to tackling. So this affects gait, and affects gait such as that these people remain with long motor disabilities, and in particular with an impaired motor function that is reflecting asymmetric gait, function motor with a decreased functional motor autonomy, with weakness at the skeletal muscles, with spasticity, and all this gives rise to an higher postural instability, which increase the number of falls and the risk of fall, and decrease mobility. So overall, this gives difficulties in daily motor tasks, activities, and these end up by demanding and huge social assistance, leads to social and work exclusion and early retirement, which results in highly cost medical assistance. For instance, here I cite 27 billion per year. So this demands a huge attention from social community with high health and social costs. And for each people in itself, what demands it results in a very low quality of life. So this was why we focus on motor impairments. And how are these problems, these impairments treated? Normally, they are treated with rehabilitation, traditional rehabilitation. And this rehabilitation includes performing specific movements that improve the motor recovery. They minimize the functional deficits and will foster the motor spasticity. Well, it will help to improve these lost functions that people present. It will reduce the muscle spasticity and the pain, and will improve the range of motion. However, in order to be really effective, rehabilitation needs to be specific to the needed skills of each user, and depends on the frequency, intensity, and repetition of the therapeutic intervention. So this is high demanding from the one that pays the service of rehabilitation. Further, the patient has to be fully engaged so that the outcome of the rehabilitation is as good as possible. So, in fact, a rehabilitation process, as I was saying, must be progressive and regular. If badly adjusted, may cause continued weakness and inability to function. And regarding the personnel that has to do it, is very labor intensive, is based on subjective analysis, is very demanding in terms of time and manual assistance, thus becoming very expensive and a burden to the healthcare systems. Further, since the population is aging, the demand for these physical therapy services is growing. So, since it is so relevant, it is required innovative research that is able to make it more affordable and available. And then rehabilitation and assistive robots appear as a possible answer. So, and rehabilitation robotics, what is rehabilitation robotics? So basically, it can be considered the application of robotic technology in therapeutic procedure for achieving the best possible motor and cognitive functional recovery. Basically, they appeared as a promise that complements a possibility to enhance the rehabilitation outcomes. And one instance of this device is, for instance, exoskeletons and active orthosis. And they are solutions that are already there, but the problem is that they mainly focus on helping to cope with the environment and are not personalized and are much constrained to the clinical settings. So there is, in fact, a need and an opportunity to move then the rehabilitation robotics beyond what is considered assistive technology. And we can do that by developing physical, interactive, and user-friendly robots that may facilitate this recovery. And these robots that we aim to achieve will be able to provide higher dose of repetitive task-specific training during daily activities, which is the required to achieve a better rehabilitation. They have to be able to holistically assess patients' progress and their intentions in real time. Further, they have to be able to provide measured, personalized assistance as needed therapy based on a seamless human-robot interaction. And also, they have to be able to overcome this need of augmenting the current clinical scales while using possible robot-based evaluation tools. So this is why I have focused my research in rehabilitation and assistance. And also, there is too much motivation to work in this area. We have several key technologies and topics that we can address. We have human-driven challenges and we have technological challenges. Further, there is a very important aspect is the social impact that this technology and this research has. And I want to really emphasize that aspect, since we contact with people whose quality of life is really very bad. So any increment, any way we can help these people is very relevant. Just going to the bathroom alone without being dependent on the others, just helping people to turn the TV on. These are very small steps that seem small steps, but in fact they are very big steps that help people to go ahead in their lives in another way. And this is also one of the points that we invest in this research. It is very very profound to be able to contribute in somehow to make that impact. And also rehabilitation in robotics has been a challenging and promising topics in research lately. And because there is a huge increase in the number of cases that needs treatments. And this lead, of course, to an increase and a demand for healthcare. So the global interest of healthcare assistive robot market is in fact a huge market. Oops, sorry, a huge market, and has a tendency to grow. In fact, this market has been evaluated as one of the most appealing nowadays. You can see, for instance, in these graphics that the global rehabilitation robots market size increased from 529,000 mega to 2,000 megas. This is in fact also a very opportunity, a very good opportunity which has to be explored. So I will now, just that I did this introduction to why the need to focus this research and why we have done it. I will just then present some case studies. And for that, I will present, as I said, the research which is being done in my lab, the BERT lab, which I show you just the logo here. And I also invite you all to visit us in case you go to University of Minho, Portugal. And also if you want to visit our website and thus can see what we are really addressing. So all the case studies which I will present are always follow this methodology. We always follow a user-centered approach. That was something that I really, when I turned to rehabilitation, robotics, and biomedical, it was really important to always be around the user, so focus on the user. So for that, we had to engage the clinicians and physiotherapists, and we are in contact and working directly with the physical medicine and rehabilitation, as well as the neurology department of Braga Hospital. Also through the 2CA Research Center and patient groups and their families and their caregivers, as well as with enterprises like orthopedic company, Orthos or Lux, that also develop sensors related to biomedical devices. And this is very important because when we propose a solution, that solution is designed with these users, these stakeholders in the loop. So therefore, any solution we design, she's also evaluated in the moment and during the next times with users that will use it. And this is our first and more important methodology. So each study I will present here, they were all of them aim to facilitate the acquisition or recovery of motor control in motor impaired individuals. And we do that by delivering measured therapy. They also intend to achieve symbiotic human-machine interaction, and we will, in all of them, exploit their potentials as evaluation tools to evaluate the patient's progresses. So the first use case I address here is the development of our smart walker, which now has been renamed of Walkit. And it is a smart robotic walker for people with ataxia. Ataxia is responsible for a serious dysfunction, causing several problems, including difficulties in gait and inability to maintain balance. As you can see here, people have this gait so they cannot walk alone. It depends a lot in the level, so sometimes it decreases after happening the problem, but still they always have this type of problems. So they don't have autonomy or independence, And this, as I told in the start of the presentation, leads to high costs of care and leads to social and professional exclusion. So they have low well-being and quality of life. So normally, in order to compensate these motor disabilities, patients rely heavily on assistive devices, such as these walkers, these traditional walkers that you can see here, sometimes also on canes or crutches, to compensate for their loss of function and use this to assist their daily lives. However, there are some problems which I will just describe. And basically, there is no pharmacological or surgical treatment for hereditary ataxia. And while ataxia as a symptom can be improved by treating the cause, it can be difficult to do that. And the keyword again is the rehabilitation, as physical therapy, speech therapy, or occupational therapy. Here we focus the physical therapy, but it is very holistical, so it attacks all the aspects of the person. So, and this was our problem. It was proposed by a physician that proposed this problem. And the goal as a solution was the development of a multifunctional mobility assistive device that will be able to enhance the effective, efficient, and safe rehabilitation of gait and posture of patients with ataxia. So this device should be used as a therapy and a clinical assessment tool, thus ensuring a patient-oriented and safe assistance with low cognitive effort. In order to do so, we had this multidisciplinary team, which is very important so that all aspects of the rehabilitation can be covered and the development is more complete. And we just add from academia, in which we included electronical, informatic, and biomedical engineers. And this was gathered together with a clinical group from which we had the physiotherapists and the physiatrists from Hospital of Braga, and then also the industrial group that also provided all aspects that could be related to mechanics and development of the design of the system. This enabled an innovative technology, a patient-oriented assistance, and an ergonomic design. All this led to several brainstorms in which we decided which could be the best approach to design this device. And then we proposed this solution, which is a smart, personalized, and user-oriented 4 wheels robotic walker that empowers the patient's locomotion safely and intuitively. And there were several aspects which were innovative at the time and are still being that we tried to address. First, to achieve an user-oriented assistance that tackled the real needs of each user. Also, to be able to achieve a clinical assessment. So while the person is using the device, it is being evaluated, and that information will be used to give to the clinicians so that they can adjust the treatment and the rehabilitation per se. It has also to provide a natural gait and a correct posture, and always keeping in mind that the patients have to be encouraged to participate. They have to be engaged, otherwise it will not work out, it will not be effective. And all this is expected to accelerate motor recovery and independence of these users or patients on their daily life activities. So this slide here is just to try to give an idea of the impact. So what can this help? Someone that is indicated to have ataxia, her life is decreased, she goes for, and it happens in our user case, it goes to a treatment, a classic traditional rehabilitation, and it does not progress. It is then recommended to use the smart walker, the walk kit, and after some time, since it is very repetitive, very intensive, it starts to increase their quality of life and achieve some improvements. This project started in 2011, so it's 9 years ago, okay, 9 years ago. And it has been developed since then until now that we have our Rolls Royce, the wall kit, which is already very ergonomic and with another aspect, more commercial. It has been always since the beginning in the hospital. It is used 5 days per week in treatments with ataxic people. We have already won 2 prizes and awards in 2015 and 2016 with this project. So the device has been designed, as I said, following a user-centered approach. This design fulfilled the patient requirements, considering their needs, such as maneuverability, safety, their cognitive effort, which has to be very low. It cannot demand cognitive effort, and it has to be personalized. We can see here in the left that it was developed such as to have a strong base of support, such that people which have several problems of balance can just support on the device. The maneuverability of it was achieved by the design of these handles, which are very intuitive to use and do not demand any cognitive efforts. And then it has been personalized to everyone through these columns that are able to adjust the height of the person, as well as if you want to be closer or far away from the device. So this ergonomic platform ensures a correct posture. The handles were also designed in order to assist sit to stand and stand to sit, the intuitive handlebar, the electric lifting system, and an ergonomic forearm support, which people just support, and it has load cells in there. So then the walker architecture and sensors was developed, a modular hierarchical architecture structured in low and high levels that ensure the walker's control and use the embedded sensors information. So the walker, as you can see in those 2 pictures, it has several sensors, a posture camera that is used for posture, another one down to the gait camera. Then you have load cells to measure the support of people. It has sonar, so that as you will see, can have autonomous behavior. It has also a touch monitor and the handlebar I presented. It is motorized. It has a laser system also to build maps of the environment, an emergency button since safety is essential. It has also an IMU and of course the developed electronics. Per se, it is stratified in the high level, in the low level. The high level deals with gait and posture monitoring. It has a graphical, an intuitive graphical user interface. Also, it will provide visual biofeedback to the user, and it enables also some dual task serious games. The low level deals more with more reactive things like low level data acquisition, sensor data processing, and the low level controls through PID controllers. We have developed different modes of operation that can be used considering the patient disability level. So we have a remote control, which is useful for patients without enough dexterity to drive, and since they can have several impairments, cognitive impairments, so they have to be only focused on the walking, they cannot be doing other tasks. And this mode is used during the initial stage of the therapy, such that patients can focus on their gait pattern and posture. this enables clinicians to assess the compensation and reactions to that the patients have when they use the remote control to control the device. When the patients advance in their... Okay, so I didn't have the sound. So then we have the manual control, which in the manual control, the patients are more advanced, so they are already able to control the device per se. The handlebar then directly reads the motion intentions, such as going forward, turn right or left. And it also enables the patients to fully support their body weight on the platform, thus increasing safety and increasing the gait stability and reducing the risk of fall. And we develop the autonomous mode, in which it is very useful for patients with visual impairments or just weakness in the upper limbs and they cannot control the device. So this is, as I said, this was already tested in 2015 in the university in 2020. The walker has the laser and it is just reading the environment with the laser, thus creating a map. And this enables to be used in different perspectives, for instance, to decide the target, to move to the bathroom or just to the kitchen, for instance, or to enable some autonomy, or just, for instance, such that the treatment can be more intensive and the person is just using this while just focus on going somewhere with the walker. So it decreased the clinician efforts because it enables a more repetitive and intensive rehabilitation. And of course, the walker implements obstacle avoidance as well as other features of safety which are required. So as I said, this also enables some gait and posture assessment, which is done through cameras, the cameras that it has for posture and gait, and therefore the walker is continuously monitoring the patient while it is performing gait and posture analysis. And why is this? Because then this assessment can be provided to the clinician so that he knows how was effectively the walk of that person, the gait of that person, how was the posture of that patient, and it can adjust the treatment accordingly. We addressed it in two ways, whether with classic vision algorithms or with deep learning solutions, which is good because it provides the design, the biomechanical design of the skeleton of the patient. And this information is then used as a visual biofeedback to the user, so that the user, while he's using the device, is visualizing its behavior, and then it understands and can adjust how to proceed while using this. And this is very powerful. It is one of the most important features that we implemented, because this biofeedback enables the person to correctly, even if because an ataxic people does not have this ability to be able to realize that the legs are not well or the posture is deficient, and it can change it, such as since it sees this visual biofeedback. So allow self-correction of trunk and posture, as well as, for instance, feet orientation or just separate the knees. Okay, so just as I said, we are in the hospital a long time ago. Here you can see several, I will present briefly 3 case studies. A male inpatient with 64 years old. She had right ataxia hemiparesis. She had 6 in 56 in Berg scar. What this demanding constant assistance to stand, sit, and walk. You can see here in the left how it was before the therapy. During the therapy for 5 days a week for 3 weeks, both using the smart walker and tonus training, it increased to 23, the Berg scale, then to 35, and then to 38. At the end, as you can see, it has a much better gait speed, and the cadence was also very improved. Of course, this was a patient that would already ameliorate, improve, perceive, but the idea from the clinicians was that it was faster to improve. That was the main role. In the second case, we had this female outpatient with 28 years old. She had a cerebral, okay, to simplify this name, a tumor on the cerebellum. And already in 2005, she had been in rehabilitation, traditional rehabilitation for a lot of time, sometime 9 years, and she had a 12 in the Berg scale. She used the walker for 40 sessions, also keeping hydrokinesis in the first 20 sessions. At the end, you can see in the movies, she improved her Berg score to 35. And this was the patient that was able to pick up a glass of water alone at home. She was always dependent on her mother, and also to go to the bathroom. It was really very strong. It was someone very involved with us, because in fact, the clinician decided to go to PhD after this use case, because she then was convinced that, okay, we might have an opportunity, a window here. Oh, sorry, I just advanced. The third case is moving on. Okay, sorry, just coming here. And then we have the third case, which was also a female, 42 years old. She also evolved from 34 to 45. Then at the end, she had a much decreased risk of falls. She just stopped crossing her legs, was one of her main problems, and her gait variability decreased. So we had some achievements with this project. I will not enter in detail on that. And of course, I want to thank to my team, which was not possible to do this work without these wonderful people that work in all these problems. And as you see, it is very multidisciplinary and very, very relevant. So, okay, the next case is smart wearable robots. As I said, exoskeleton and orthosis are very relevant in these rehabilitations. In fact, exoskeletons, for instance, simulate the skills of a trained therapist, provide high repetitive training, care a large number of patients. Another important tool.
This basis, standing exercises and complete motion sequences can be supported by the stimulation.
Okay, movies cannot be started as a fact. Okay, is functional electrical stimulation, which has been used to restore muscle function, improve physical fitness, and it's very good in boosting the sensory motor system. So there are solutions in the literature. They are solutions that are commercially available. However, they have several problems, which they, for instance, do not modulate the systems based on the patient needs. They are not personalized to the gait rehabilitation, and also they do not transfer to the most important ADLs. And one also of the big problems is that there is not clinical or sufficient clinical evidence that enables to turn these answers as all answers in the rehabilitations. So what we need is to integrate continuous gait analysis tools and assist as needed control strategies into these wearable robots. And to address these challenges, we propose these smart wearable robots, which integrate wearable motion labs, plus this fast solution or the exoskeleton, also with wearable biofeedback and artificial intelligence tools. And all of this enables a personalized gait rehabilitation and analysis system. And we proposed these two solutions, which you can see here. First, it was the exoskeleton, the Smart OS project. And now we pick up the same ideas and extend it to the functional electrical stimulation in Neuralink. So basically, this integrates these technologies, robo and assistive strategies, which are driven by artificial intelligence tools to provide an assistance, assist as needed. They integrate a wearable motion lab, which is able to collect all data while it's being used. Also, the same biofeedback system and also a therapist-oriented feedback system. The clinical contribution this enables is a repetitive and assisted as needed training that will empower the gait function. It has onboard user-oriented gait analysis that support clinical gait diagnosis, encourage the user's participation that accelerate sensory motor recovery, and support therapists for effective instruction, thus accelerating sensory motor recovery. So what we have developed to address these problems and to develop these technologies, we developed the wearable motion lab that contains this, basically these three systems you have here, which the IMUs enable kinematic gait analysis. Then we develop a muscular gait analysis, and the foot lab, which enable a spatial temporal parameter analysis. Okay, all these systems enable us to do a continuous use, both in clinical or daily settings, as you can also see here, being used in daily life. And these metrics enable to develop user-specific disability tools for assessing the level of disabilities using artificial intelligence tools, and then this enable us to verify which are the user needs. This contributes to science by develop continuous and objective gait analysis with affordable sensors, enables to achieve and develop systems that are able to be integrated with third-party systems. It supports the clinical decision making in motor diagnosis and enable to adapt the robust assistance to users' needs. So this has been tested and verified in clinical studies with post-stroke patients. We have been in the Hospital of Braga verifying if these wearable motion labs are working correctly. And at the same time, we have developed the tools that are required for the gait analysis, which do real-time gait event detection, locomotion intention prediction, and motor disability level analysis. We have been publishing in the development of the real-time gait event detection tools. We have also developed and already published the locomotion intention prediction tools, both using machine learning based tools as well as artificial intelligence tools. And for that, we also achieved sensor fusion using this information from the wearable lab with a commercial EEG system to develop another intention decoding tool based on artificial intelligence algorithms. And this helps us to predict daily locomotion modes, as those you can see here, such as level ground, ramp, stairs, sit to stand. With this, we just collect all this data in these real scenarios, and we explore this data to verify which is the meaningful data and sensors that will be able to really extract the user's intentions. And this, so these were the contributions that we achieved with these tools. Okay, so then we developed the control that we needed for this, based using these intentions and the detected needs. We proposed a bio-inspired architecture that has adaptive controls, and we have developed for the exoskeleton different strategies, whether trajectory tracking control that uses user-oriented trajectory according to the user's height and gait speed. Also an EMG-based control that is able to adjust the assistance according to the user's EMG signals. Then we also used an impedance control strategy there in the third that is able to change the stiffness of the device according to the gait speed and gait phase. And finally, we are currently exploring human in the loop strategies to adjust and minimize the user's metabolic cost. And all of this aims and help us to achieve a personalized rehabilitation. In considering the neuroprosthesis, we also developed an architecture, again, the same idea. So we have the user's intention and user's need, and then we explore an architecture that will be able to provide personalized rehabilitation by adjusting and generating the muscles stimulations. And this will be tested with spinal cord injury people. So the contributions is that we are proposing novel brain-controlled neuroprosthesis that will allow intuitive and continuous use of these technologies with improvements in the sensory motor system. Finally, we also implement user-oriented biofeedback. Basically, we used some tools we were developed, such as this waistband that provides is a wearable biofeedback system that provides multimodal cues to improve the human-robot interaction and also encourage the user participation. We are also using HoloLens and also using other technologies that enable us to achieve a therapist-oriented feedback, such that the therapist can follow and adapt the training based on real-time and objective gait analysis. So here we have a use case. We developed this for the mobile application, and then using this mobile application, we interact with the system, we parameterize also the clinician according to the person, the patient that is using it. It is intuitive and easy to use. And you can see here some use cases while the therapy is ongoing. The ankle orthosis is still being controlled. You have the desktop application giving all the required information, and it is a modular architecture, time effective, and that enable, it was a very important aspect to expand SmartOS to other models. So now our idea was, what if we combine both technologies? And this is our last suggestion. So we just decided to combine functional electrical stimulation with the exoskeleton, and this will enable to take advantages of both technologies to even progress more. So again, we have several contributions. This is a consortium, also multidisciplinary, and also focused in the hospital, and again, a multidisciplinary team. So just briefly, I will just discuss very briefly what we have been developing for Parkinson. So Parkinson, as I said, is a neurological disease which has very many consequences in the long-term motor-term disability. It has, for instance, freezing of gait, difficulties in crossing the doors in several situations when there are stress situations, many postural instabilities, even when people are in the on state with medication. So what we did was to develop front-end high-tech solutions based on this wearable biofeedback concept that is customized according to the need of the person, and it has been designed specifically for Parkinson's disease. So basically, it includes the biofeedback. It has tools for doing motion analysis. It has tools for doing and supporting clinical diagnostic and management tools. And also we develop immersive virtual frameworks for motor assessment and training. So this is to show just the impact. The biofeedback device, so basically, just let me explain the hypothesis behind the use of this biofeedback. So it emerged as an alternative solution because there was this pharmacological surgical barrier, and it aims to help the PD patients to overcome their gait-associated disabilities and achieve function motor assistance and rehabilitation. So they have both a sensory system and actuation system. The sensory system, which is through a waistband, just collects data to calculate the gait patterns, posture instabilities, and this information is given to the actuation system, which through external cues, just such as visual, auditory, or vibro-tactile, just give these cues to the patient. So what happens is that the hypothesis is these external sensory cues are able to bypass the damaged neural message and help patients to improve. This is a movie, exact, to improve their gait performance. So there is this failure, and then is able to bypass this and increase the motor performance. So this is the instrumented waistband we developed. It's just a very simple waistband that contains electronics, and it contains tools that provides biofeedback considering gait event-driven biofeedback. So the user with the vibro-tactile band, it has emos, and then provides just vibro-tactile biofeedback. And it can work, you see, with and without biofeedback. It really improves the walk of the people when they have freezing of gait moments. So we also have context-aware biofeedback. We included a camera into the waistband, and then we detect the doors. And when a door is detected, it also is given biofeedback to the person, and this enables it to overcome this situation. And then we also did postural stability phase-dependent biofeedback. So in a situation of postural instability, it is given biofeedback, and the person just is able to correct his posture. So then we developed these tools for motion, and using the instrumented waistband and a user-friendly application for data visualization and post-processing, we do the gait events detection, we calculate the gait-associated parameters, and we do human activities recognition. And this information is then used to provide support through artificial intelligence tools to the clinicians, such that they can do much more objective analysis and personalize the treatments. Okay, and also we developed these immersive tools now, in which we use the mixed reality application with HoloLens, and that we, by triggering, oh, here it's not showing, by triggering specific rate-related symptoms and using several customized virtual environments, we treat people in those situations to overcome this. This has been very good. We are using it in the hospital, and in fact, it has been a very good rehabilitation tool. I thank you for your time. This was the presentation of the work we are doing in the Bird Lab, and I again invite you to visit us if you have that possibility. Thank you.